Actress Sofia Vergara being sued by her own embryos. It's an incredible twist in an ongoing legal battle between her and her former fiancé over the fate of the fertilized eggs. The two embryos listed as plaintiffs in a case that could be precedent-setting.
Linda Schmidt talked about this to some experts and found out what's at stake. She's in the newsroom with more. Linda.
A very interesting case here, Stephen Derry. Well, you know, her former fiancé originally filed a lawsuit against her in California, but he wasn't having any luck there. So now, according to Page 6, he has dropped that lawsuit and is going after Vergara in Louisiana. Now, Louisiana is a pro-life state that has special legal protections for frozen embryos. Actress Sofia Vergara married actor Joe Manganiello last year, but she is still embroiled in a battle with her former fiancé, Nick Loeb. It is over frozen embryos they created together when they were engaged back in 2013. But more than 2 years after the couple split, Loeb is still fighting for full custody of the embryos. According to Page 6, he has now filed a new lawsuit in Louisiana contending that by not being born, the embryos are being deprived of an inheritance created for them in that state. Vergara wants the embryos to remain frozen. Attorney Ifat Shatiel specializes in fertility law.
The main issue is, are people going to be forced to have children against their will?
Attorney Shatiel says Louisiana considers frozen embryos to be biological human beings, so Loeb has a stronger case in Louisiana than he did in California, where his original case was filed 2 years ago.
They will say that his right to procreate outweighs her right to procreate and actually allow him to use those embryos against her will.
However, she says the court will also consider why Loeb, who is capable of having other children, is insisting on keeping these two embryos from a woman who does not want to have children with him. If the court rules in his favor, the attorney says it would set a precedent in Louisiana, but not the rest of the country.
It's not federal, so it's not going to be applicable around the U.S. It's going to affect Louisiana and Louisiana only. Having said that, it may influence other decisions, and so it will be interesting to see what happens as we follow this.
Fertility doctor Joel Batzofin says despite Louisiana's law, embryos are not human beings.
They should be treated with dignity, respect, but to believe that they are human beings is not accurate.
And also, if a judge in Louisiana does rule in Loeb's favor, Attorney Shatiel says the law would apply to both men and women in that state, which means that either one could take an embryo and create a child without the consent of the other parent. Stephen Derry, back upstairs to you.
Yikes is right.
A lot to think about. All right, thank you, Linda.